Everyone kind of hates HDMI cables.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine if you're just plugging a console into a TV a few feet away. But the second you try to run one across a room...
Or through a wall. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an absolute nightmare. You get signal dropouts, handshake failures.
Uh-huh.
It's basically a physics problem because copper cables just aren't designed to push high bandwidth 4K over long distances.
Right, without specialized boosters anyway.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why professional venues like sports bars or high-end smart homes are just ditching dedicated video cables entirely, which is what we're looking at today for this deep dive.
Right, we're talking about AV over IP.
Exactly. Specifically, we are analyzing the Zenty ZT-157 encoder from HDTV Supply to see how they actually pull this off.
Which is essentially just a device that takes your video signal, turns it into data packets, and then shoots it over a standard Cat6 Ethernet cable. Basically the exact same stuff running your internet.
But here's the snag writer. Raw 4K video at 60 frames a second is just a massive amount of data. You can't just shove that down a 1 gigabit network pipe without compressing it first.
No, you have to compress it. And the ZT-157 uses JPEG 2000 compression to do that.
That's interesting because usually when you hear compression, you think of Netflix buffering or those blocky artifacts.
Right, but JPEG 2000 is different. It compresses frame by frame, not over time.
Okay, so it's...
Visually lossless. To the human eye, the image looks identical to the source. It also uses 4.2.0 chroma sampling to help manage that bandwidth.
And for those who don't speak video engineer, that basically means the device is compressing the color information, which our eyes aren't super sensitive to anyway.
Yeah.
But it preserves the brightness or the luma data, which is where all the detail actually lives.
That's a perfect way to put it. You keep the sharp edges in the detail, but you shave off the data requirement. That's how they get 4K at 60 Hz running smoothly on a standard network.
But the other big worry with compression is usually time. If the system has to crunch the numbers to compress the image that takes milliseconds. If you're watching a football game and the audio is screaming touchdown 2 seconds before you see it on the screen, the system's a failure.
Yeah, that is the deal breaker in live environments. But the Zenty IP300 series claims a latency of just 1 to 2 frames.
Okay, let's do the math on that. At 60 frames per second, one frame is about 16 milliseconds. A human blink is roughly 100 milliseconds.
So we're talking about a delay that is literally faster than the blink of an eye. It's effectively instant. You could play a fast-paced video game through this system and not even feel the lag.
Now, what about scaling? Because if you're a bar owner, you're not just connecting one cable box to one TV. You might have 20 screens.
And that's why you use IP. This isn't just a basic extender, it's a matrix. Since the video is just data on the network, you can route any source to any screen. You can even build video walls up to 16 screens wide by 16 screens tall using these encoders.
My immediate concern with a setup that big is the power situation. If you have a video wall of 16 screens, do you need to find 16 extra power outlets for these little boxes behind the TVs?
Thankfully, no. The ZT-157 supports PoE, Power over Ethernet.
So the network switch actually powers the unit through the data cable itself.
Exactly. One single cable handles the 4K video, the multi-channel audio like Dolby Atmos or DTS-StartX, and the power. It cleans up the installation significantly.
Hardware is one thing, but usability is usually where these complex systems fall apart. If you're the bartender or just a homeowner, you don't want to need an IT degree to change the TV from ESPN to the news.
Yeah, that's often the friction point. Usually you're dealing with clunky remotes, but Zenty leans heavily on their free ZNet iPad control app.
I saw that in the notes. It's not just a text list of inputs. It actually shows you what's playing right.
Yes, it gives you live video previews of your sources and destinations. You see a thumbnail of the football game, you see the TV you want on the diagram, and you just drag and drop. It visualizes the routing for you.
That totally prevents the classic mistake of accidentally sending the kids' cartoon channel to the main projector during the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And for the integrators listening, it still supports the old school methods. Bidirectional RS-232 commands and CEC one-touch play and standby so the TV turns on automatically when you send a signal.
And what's the damage? Because professional gear usually carries a very professional price tag.
It's actually positioned aggressively. HDTV Supply, they've been around for 25 years as a global home for AV products. They list the encoder around $700, and considering it comes with a 5-year warranty, they're clearly betting on the durability.
It really emphasizes the convergence we're seeing. Video isn't a special signal anymore. It's just data on the network, like an email or a web page.
It is. And once you treat video as data, the physical limitations of those copper cables just disappear.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to mull over. If professional video distribution is now just packets on a network, How long until those thick HDMI cables behind your TV at home disappear for good? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.